Post-Scarcity Anarchism by Murray Bookchin is an anarchist text that offers a radical vision of a future society, a society based on ecological sustainability, direct democracy, and the abolition of hierarchical power structures. Published in 1971, this collection of essays explores the possibilities of achieving a society of abundance, one where technological advancements make it possible to meet the material needs of all without the coercion and exploitation that characterize capitalism and the state. Bookchin's work is foundational in the development of social ecology, an ideology that merges ecological concerns with anarchist principles. Bookchin wrote Post-Scarcity Anarchism during a time of significant social upheaval, the 1960s and 1970s, when movements for civil rights, environmentalism, and anti-authoritarianism were gaining momentum. The book reflects this era's spirit of radical change, advocating for a future society that harnesses technological advancements to eliminate scarcity, a condition that Bookchin argues has been used throughout history to justify hierarchies, exploitation, and domination. Bookchin envisions a post-scarcity society where technology is used not to oppress or exploit, but to free individuals from drudgery and allow them to engage in creative, fulfilling activities. This vision is rooted in a critique of both capitalism and state socialism, which he sees as systems that perpetuate scarcity and hierarchy, even in the face of technological advancements that could eliminate these conditions. At the heart of Bookchin's vision is the idea of post-scarcity, a condition where advances in technology and productive capacity have made it possible to satisfy the material needs of all people without requiring them to work in degrading or exploitative conditions. Bookchin argues that modern technology, particularly automation and cybernetics, has the potential to create an abundance of goods and services. If harnessed correctly, these technologies could eliminate the need for forced labor and provide the material basis for a society where everyone's needs are met. Bookchin challenges the notion that scarcity is a natural or inevitable condition. Instead, he argues that scarcity is a social construct maintained by hierarchical systems of power to justify control and inequality. Capitalism in particular perpetuates artificial scarcity by restricting access to resources and producing goods for profit rather than for need. For example, in a post-scarcity society, resources such as food, shelter, and healthcare would be freely accessible to all, with decisions about production and distribution made democratically by the community rather than by market forces or state planners. Bookchin extends the traditional anarchist critique of the state and capitalism by focusing on the broader concept of hierarchy. He argues that hierarchical structures, whether in the form of the state, capitalism, or even traditional family structures, are the root of social domination and environmental destruction. Bookchin traces the origins of hierarchy back to early human societies, where it first emerged as a way to manage scarce resources. Over time, these hierarchies became entrenched and expanded, leading to the development of the state, patriarchy, and class divisions. He argues that the continuation of hierarchy in any form is incompatible with true freedom and equality. A significant contribution of Bookchin's work is his integration of ecological concerns with the critique of hierarchy. He argues that the domination of nature by humans is an extension of social hierarchies, and that the ecological crisis is rooted in the same structures of domination that oppress people. To solve environmental problems, Bookchin insists that we must not only address specific ecological issues, but also dismantle the hierarchical systems that give rise to them. Bookchin's ideas resonate with contemporary environmental movements that emphasize the interconnectedness of social and ecological issues, addressing how environmental degradation disproportionately affects periphery nations of the global economic system. One of the core principles of Bookchin's vision for a post-scarcity society is direct democracy, a form of governance where all members of a community participate directly in decision-making rather than delegating authority to representatives. Bookchin advocates for a decentralized form of governance where decisions are made at the local level through face-to-face assemblies. These assemblies would be federated into larger networks, allowing for coordination without the need for a centralized state. This model contrasts sharply with both capitalist democracy, where power is concentrated in the hands of a few, and with state socialism, which often leads to bureaucratic control. In Bookchin's view, decentralization is crucial for both political and ecological reasons. Politically, it ensures that power remains in the hands of the people rather than distant authorities. Ecologically, decentralization allows for the management of resources in a way that is responsive to local conditions and needs, promoting sustainability and reducing environmental impact. Bookchin draws inspiration from examples such as the Paris Commune and the Spanish Revolution, and where local assemblies played a key role in organizing society along non-hierarchical lines. He also looks to more contemporary movements, such as the New Left, for inspiration on how direct democracy could be implemented in modern contexts. While Bookchin shares with Marxism a critique of capitalism, he is highly critical of Marxism's focus on the state and its tendency to reproduce hierarchical structures. Bookchin argues that state socialism, rather than abolishing hierarchy, often recreates it in new forms. He critiques Marxist-Leninist models for replacing capitalist exploitation with state bureaucracy, where a new ruling class of party officials and planners emerges. For Bookchin, true liberation requires the abolition of the state altogether, not merely the transfer of power from one group to another. Bookchin proposes an alternative rooted in anarchism and social ecology. Instead of focusing on the seizure of state power, he advocates for the creation of decentralized, directly democratic institutions that can manage society without coercion or hierarchy. The concept of libertarian municipalism is one of Bookchin's contributions to anarchist theory. It envisions a society where cities and towns are governed by directly democratic assemblies, which coordinate through federations. This model seeks to replace both capitalist and state socialist systems with a bottom-up approach to governance. Bookchin is optimistic about the potential for technology to liberate humanity from the constraints of scarcity, but he also warns against the misuse of technology in hierarchical societies. In a post-scarcity society, technology could be used to automate mundane tasks, reduce the working day, and allow people to engage in creative and fulfilling activities. Bookchin envisions a world where technology serves human needs rather than corporate profits or state power. However, Bookchin is critical of the idea that technology alone can solve social problems. He argues that without addressing the underlying social structures, technological advancements can reinforce existing hierarchies or create new forms of domination, such as technocracy, where experts and technologists wield disproportionate power. The contemporary debate over automation and artificial intelligence reflects Bookchin's concerns. While these technologies have the potential to improve quality of life by reducing the need for human labour, they also raise questions about who controls these technologies and how the benefits are distributed. Post-Scarcity Anarchism remains a vital text for understanding the potential of a future society free from the constraints of scarcity, hierarchy, and domination. Bookchin's work challenges both capitalist and state socialist models, offering a vision of a society based on ecological sustainability, direct democracy, and the free development of human potential. For contemporary readers, Bookchin's ideas offer a powerful critique of current social and ecological crises and provide a framework for imagining alternatives. His emphasis on the need to dismantle hierarchies, address ecological issues, and build decentralized, directly democratic institutions is increasingly relevant in a world facing environmental degradation, economic inequality, and political disillusionment. Whether you are a seasoned activist or new to anarchist ideas, Post-Scarcity Anarchism is essential reading for anyone interested in exploring radical alternatives to the current social order. We have been the Left Library, and this has been Political Theory Simplified. If you have enjoyed this overview, we encourage you to read Post-Scarcity Anarchism by Murray Bookchin to deepen your understanding of anarchist thought and its relevance to contemporary struggles. Thank you for watching, and let's continue to learn and grow together.